Hi, I wanted to point out a couple of helpful tips for what to look out for in your bow arm. The things that might be getting in the way of getting a nice control and therefore a beautiful sound. I just want to go over some common things I see when I'm teaching beginners, or I just watch, random students play, and I see the same things most of the time over and over. I might as well share them with you so you know what to look out for, all right? First thing is the bow hold is a little bit stiff, including the wrist. And when that happens, then you're going to get this. So what's happening is my arm, right, just looks like this the whole time. Do you see this? So basically from my elbow on up, nothing's changing. But if you look at a proper bow, right? So do you see how everything's bending? Look at the shape of my hand here. Look at how my elbow is, my shoulder, right? You see how much it has swung this way, right? And then when I'm coming back, then my elbow goes back, and see my wrist is straightening out, and then it's, I'll show you over here, right? Then my wrist bends the other way. So there's a lot going on here. And then also another common mistake I see, so that, I guess that would be like a wrist that doesn't bend. So especially when you're up here, you want to make sure you're bending your wrist. Okay, it's a lot more awkward than you think it is. I mean, it feels awkward, but it's correct, right? It looks like this. It has to really be bent, almost like you're about to go and hit your chin right here. Now, another one I see is like elbow and wrist are too high, so then it looks like this. And again, it's hard to keep your bow straight because everything is like the elbow is too high, it's locked up, and then the wrist, is too high over here, right? So, or I see like, most of the time I see a cricket bow goes this way, okay? And so it actually feels like you're really reaching out the other way. It almost feels like you're making a J shape like that, like a backwards J. I mean, to me, it looks like a J, right? But to you, it looks like a reverse J. So you kind of want to feel like you're going like that, and that way you get that straight. Okay. Now, the other thing I see is like the reverse cricket bow. So it's like too much like this. So watch out for that. What you can do is just, line yourself up and watch in a mirror. But usually it's not the best thing for some people. It's hard to tell in a mirror. So just set up a camera just like I have, right? And then just, go like this and then watch it back and see what you see. The other thing that I want you to watch out for is if you feel that your bow is slipping, like see this kind of thing, often you're going to hear... I call that like a silvery sound, right? Or like a hydroplaning sound. I can hear that it's slipping, the bow is slipping and it's not gripping. This is the sound of a gripping bow, right? You see it? But this is a slipping bow. Even when it's not obvious, right here. Hopefully you can still hear it. It's like a little bit, it sounds thin, it sounds like silk, you know what I mean, in a bad way. It's like a bad silk, like it's just very thin and there's not much substance to it. Okay, also notice if your tip is sliding. So I often see a very good bow here and then right there it slips. Okay, this is a very, very common mistake. So you just watch out to see if you just go quick like this, right? And then if you look, you're like, oh, okay. So if you go really quick, right? And then you check, oh, it's still in place. It's still in place. Okay. You see? Or maybe you'll go this way, or maybe you'll lose control that way. So you want to notice if you can do it slowly pretty well, right? Then you might want to go faster and see what happens. So you want to check for that. Let's see what else. A bad bow hold often leads to a stiff wrist, and a stiff wrist leads to a stiff elbow, and a stiff elbow leads to like usually a high elbow. So you have to realize when you go down bow, your elbow needs to drop. Do you see that? A lot of kids, they do that and then they leave their elbow, and do you see how that doesn't look quite right? Okay, so first you start out with your elbow pretty high because everything's attached. Everybody has to go, and as you go down bow, see my elbow has to go in the same way my frog goes down. Watch my hand and my frog. Do you see? My frog is descending, my elbow needs to descend, and at some point, then my hand goes. So I hope that makes sense. So just a few quick things to watch out for in your bow. I think the most common things are when you don't have a good flexibility. There's a lot more to this. There's collet, there's finger flexibility. There's a lot of more detailed things I could go into. But for now, I would go over those checklists. If any of those things are not under control, you're not going to have the best sound possible. Okay, these are all essentials, but don't fret one by one. You can kind of focus on it. Just pick one thing and focus on it. If it's because like your tip is slipping, that means that your bow path is not straight, right? You're actually going in kind of like a C shape. So you need to make sure that your bow, like if there was a laser light right here, it would be hitting the same spot on the wall or on the floor the whole time. Usually if you go like this, right, that means your laser spot went that way. So just think about keeping your bow really in a straight line. And then when you feel that kind of this thing, even if it's faint, right, then you will realize, oh, I didn't pull my bow straight, and I'm losing traction. Okay, so being aware of that spot where your bow is on the string at all times, and make sure you have a good, I usually call that scrubby. I say scrubby during lesson all the time. For the kids who don't really bear down and play, they want to play everything very delicate and clean and everything. I constantly remind them to play scrubby. So that just means that you're getting a good amount of friction on your on your string, and that way your string can vibrate. If you don't have enough friction, the vibrations of your string are going to be on the smaller side, and therefore the sound of your instrument will not sound rich. It will sound thin and kind of weak, and also it's not going to project. So if you ever play in a larger room like a concert hall, the people in the back are going to find your performance to be boring because everything just sounds very small and introverted instead of the sound really coming out and projecting. So hope that makes sense. I just did this impromptu, so I'm sure I'm forgetting some other things, but these are definitely all things I mentioned are very common, and I see it very often. So hope you can identify these in your own playing because it's going to help you tremendously. All right, good luck.